Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play World Wave 3 with me, Alpha Mega, and the Kaiserliche Marine. It is 1904 and as far as our diplomatic situation goes, not much has changed. Actually, one thing that I would like to say is that we are sort of returning to normal. Apart from having spotless relations with the United States and Japan and alliance with Austria-Hungary, one thing worth of noting is that we are back to mount animosity with Great Britain. I guess we are destined to fight them eventually, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna postpone that as much as I can. What is interesting though is that Spain is again at extremely high tensions with the United States. They are at 9 currently, which is only 3 steps away from war, meaning one bad event and they will jump at it again. Considering that USA is about 2.5 times bigger now than Spain in terms of navy, I wouldn't really bet much on Spain. And not to mention that I think that the United States have alliance with Great Britain and Italy. So if all of these 3 ganged up, it would be, 12-to-1 ratio? Yeah, 12-to-1 ratio. So we might see Spain actually eliminated completely. I mean, I've never seen a nation drop to something like 10,000 tons. Something that would be really fun. On the other hand, they would have the most modern navy of everyone afterwards. You know, they could build brand new ships and not even think about it. I guess there is a silver lining to everything. Anyway, this year was really good for us as far as tonnage goes. We added exactly 10,000 tons, and only Italy and Japan added more, 18,000 and 12,200 tons respectively. Great Britain added 1,100, France only 800 tons, Russia 1,800, USA 3,800, Austria-Hungary 1,400, and Spain 9,000 tons. I guess those budget cuts are really starting to kick in for everyone. For us, we are currently building just one heavy cruiser, which I think is going to be ready next year. So this year is going to be also maybe even 0 tons for us. We're going to see. Tonnage comparison, you can see that Great Britain pretty much plateaued. It's the only year, no, actually second year, they had a plateau between 1896 and 1897 as well. France also added almost nothing. So yeah, things are sort of stabilizing. Some people are growing, some people aren't. As the overall tonnage goes, we are currently at something like 2.75 million, 2.7 million, something like that. I haven't checked the overall number, but yeah, we're somewhere in between 2.5 and 3 million tons. As far as relative comparison goes, we had a good year, as you guessed from the previous numbers. We're back to almost 10% share of the overall tonnage. Spain also increased to 4.41%. Russia is almost back to 11%. France at 14%. You know, no dramatic changes. Things are sort of stable. I still feel that we are on an upward trend, at least from, what this graph looks like. So I would like to believe that. The numbers also speak the same thing. We started at 8.42%. Then at 1900 we were at 9.83. Now we're nearly at 10. So hopefully it's going to continue. And by 1910 we could, be fairly set above 10%. But we'll see. We'll see. It would be good to keep increasing our tonnage. Economy-wise, we had another slight increase in our yearly budget, one of nearly 3%. Exactly, it's 2.965%. We're currently earning 110,000 Reichsmark per year. One thing that I want to note is that this is 4th year in a row where we are below the trend line. The trend line, again, should tell you like the weighted average of all of your years. So, overall, we are below it now, which is kind of sad. The graph is still showing an upwards trend, which I think I started. Actually, one thing worth of note, I was re-watching episode 1 because I was interested in seeing how my outlook on the game and on the Let's Play changed in the past, 24 episodes, I think now. And a lot of things were kind of interesting to look back at, with the hindsight. But one thing that I said in that episode is that we should grow about 2 to 3% per year, and when you look at the trend line, it's actually stabilizing around that number, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, overall, like, the math checks out, even though we have massive variations year on year in some cases. But yeah, again, 4th year under the trend line, we should be somewhere at 130k right now. Yeah, that should be the average we should reach. So we'll see if it keeps increasing. I might want to escalate a little bit more with some of the nations around us, but we have to be careful with Great Britain. I don't want to rile those guys up. Funds dropped by about 11% to 5.1% of our overall budget. Total expenses also increased by 3.9%, but they are still below where we were before. 98.29% of our income, which is a reasonable amount to be at. Ship cost 3,550, increased by 16%, almost at 40% of our overall budget. And construction dropped by 19%. It is fairly equal to the ship cost increasing, and we tried to push the expenses below the income, because last year and the year before we were heavily over the income, but that was still due to the drop of budget, because we tried to stabilize our situation. I think right now with the plan Grau, we are doing fairly good, rebuilding and refurbishing our ships, while slowly increasing the submarine fleet and adding the Königs, because those are the priority ships for us right now. Here you can see the yearly budget drops and increase. Yeah, there is a slight upwards trend since 1902, so that is good. Research-wise, we've made a couple of breakthroughs. We gained 2 levels in fire control, which makes me really happy. I'm prioritizing that. If you remember, it's on high priority for us, so it's good to see that it is taking effect. We got the central firing, which is really good for us. We need to refit all of our ships with that. One question, though, that I have with it is what we're gonna... Well, actually, I'll speak about it when we get to the fleet. So fire control is really good. Mission development, making our ships a little bit lighter. Subdivisions and damage control, making them a little floatier. Armor-piercing projectiles, torpedo technologies, submarines, all good and fine. Speaking of torpedo technology, we should start paying attention to that, because I think that the slow torpedo now has a range of 2,500 yards, which is not bad. It could, I think it, we need to check that in the game, but I think the current technology was that there's always 2 torpedo types. There's a fast one, which is short range, and slow one, which is longer range. And I think that the slow torpedo now was almost something like 16 knots and 2,500 yards. So it's starting to be relevant for combat usage for some ships. So we need to keep that in mind, that when we design new ships, torpedo could be a viable offensive mean, or it could also be a deterrent. If we put a number of torpedo tubes on our future ships, it will make sure that the enemy will avoid getting in close contact with them, meaning we need to put a little bit less armor on them. So there's one thing that we should think about. Fleet overview. Well, we have a new cruiser and we have a new submarine, and we're still building a heavy cruiser, the second of the König von Preußen class, and we're building 3 new submarines after we've built and tested the prototype submarine. Again, that's just for roleplay reasons, but we built the first one. We gave it 1 or 2 months, and then we started building more. The 3 new submarines that we're building have a much higher reliability. I think the original submarine has 45, and they will have 52. So I might actually, once we finish the 3, order another batch of free and retire the original U1 just to roleplay, it being a test subject. And, I don't really want to see anyone get into the point where they drown because of low reliability. That, dying in a submarine is horrifying enough so that we don't really need to make that more likely. Okay. Kaiserliche Marine in time. You can see that we started adding the submarines this year. We have one available. We had a little bit of growth this year with the additional heavy cruiser. I like how our fleet is composed right now with some battleships, some heavy cruisers, light cruisers, destroyers, and corvettes and submarines. It's starting to look really nicely comprised, which is great. What I wanted to mention though here is that we are currently rebuilding the Weisenbergs, you guys, and the Gazelles, but because the Weisenbergs have undergone such a heavy change, and we're rebuilding, I think, the Weisenberg first, Brandenburg will come next, then Werf. Then we're gonna send them to the colonies within a year or two. The question though is what we're gonna do with our other battleships like the Donau class and the Deutsche Kaiser class, because these ships definitely need to get the central firing. They have the central rangefinder. Now the central firing is a better fire control, and if we start rebuilding with it, we might want to look into a bigger rebuild. Why I'm saying that is because I played with it a little bit, and for example, the Deutsche Kaiser class ships, if we change the machinery, we could get them to, I think, 20 knots, and we can also upgrade their guns pretty heavily. We can get them a better tertiary guns, we can make them faster, so it is a question of utility, because we're going to make them much better, but the costs are really high. The rebuild, a complex rebuild, for example, of the Donau was somewhere around taking 12 months and costing almost 4k per month, which is like, 40k? For that, we could build an entire new battleship. But on the other hand, the Donau itself could get to 22 knots. It could be downgraded to 11-inch guns, but they would be of quality -1, which is way better than the guns it has now. We could up its tertiary guns as well. But then again, wouldn't we rather build an entirely new battleship using modern technology and postpone the refit? I think that might be a little bit better, though it's not really falling into the plan and grow that you guys voted for. So I'm playing with these ideas in my mind. We don't really have that much money either, so that's that. But once we finish the second König von Preußen, which will happen next year, so in the next episode, I'm actually going to do what I was talking about. It's gonna take a while. I maybe like to see or hear if you guys would like me to do it on camera or off camera. And what I'm talking about is I will have to split the fleet into two major groups. We'll have the major fleet in Baltic, but we'll have secondary fleet in Northern Europe, because we've been talking about that for quite some time now, that in the Baltic we'll have the Donau with the 4 Deutsche Kaiser class, and Elbe and the Königs are going to take over patrolling in Northern Europe. This is going to be important in case of another conflict with, for example, Russia, because they were able to blockade us by putting most of their fleet in Northern Europe. It didn't really change much in the long haul, but for us it is important to prevent that from happening, because it increases unrest pretty heavily. So the questions I'm pondering, just to make it more clear, is after we rebuild the Weisenbergs, which needed it massively, do we go and rebuild the Deutsche Kaisers and the Donaus, or do we keep them as they are right now, just to do the central firing and reserve the bigger rebuilds for later? I think it's more intelligent to leave it for later, because these ships are more than capable at this point. What I'm really feeling bad about though is their speed, because the Königs can already reach 22 knots, Libecks are at 22 as well. No, 23. So our ships are slowly going to rust and they're going to start losing speed. The Deutsche Kaisers are at 19, meaning they will soon get to 18 or less. The Donals are at 20, so it means they're going to soon drop to 19 or less. So, the machinery rebuild would be very beneficial for that. I think I'm going to revisit it in the episode actually and show you what I mean, just so you guys get a little bit of an idea of what I'm pondering. I would really be happy if you share your opinions on that. But, even I'm not sure what I want to do. So that's that. Anyway, Königs, the second König is being built. Friedrich the First is going to come into service in February 1904. Wait, that's this year, right? Is it 1904 or 1904? Oh yeah. Okay, so next month, really? Or do I have a typo here? I need to check that. That would be cool. We could start building a third one, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that's a typo. It's probably February 1905. I just got excited for nothing. We're rebuilding the Gazelles, I believe. Yep, we've already rebuilt the Gazelle and Zebra, and Topi and Ibex are currently being rebuilt. I'd like to look at what we could do with the Prince Heinrich classes as well, because these ships have been pretty good. They're still of the older design, but they started with a pretty decent speed, and they don't have any targeting machinery at all. So it would be good to look at them. And also Hertha. Hertha is a really good ship. It is the only one of its class, but I would really like to see if we can rebuild it. So yeah. Speaking of rebuilds and everything, bases and land fortifications, we've increased the dockyard yet again to 26,500 tons by 2,000 tons, but I'm gonna pause it for now. I need to check what the opponents are doing, but we really need to save up a little bit of money right now. I don't want to waste. It's like 750 per month, which is quite a lot for us right now. So I'd rather invest that into rebuilding some of our ships than increasing the capacity further, especially because I cannot even imagine designing anything of 26,000 tons right now. Coastal fortifications, no change there. And officer corps, we actually had our long-standing fleet admiral Odo retire in the last episode, so now we have a new fleet admiral. So in case there will be any voting, it's gonna be initiated by the new fleet admiral. Let's hope he's gonna be good. The previous admiral was well connected, so let's see what the new one is like. We got a new contra admiral as well, 2 more capitaines sur and 2 more Fregatten capitains, and we can see a little bit of an uptick. We have a lot of capitains sur which are below average, but when you look at the Fregatten capitains, it's starting to look a little bit better. 5 average, 1 above, 2 below. Contra admirals as well, we have 1 above, 2 average, 3 below, so still a lot of below average people. But I'm actually sad that I didn't do some kind of long-term statistic. It would be I could have actually just tracked the quality, ignore the ranks, and just look at the overall averages. I could do that. We have the numbers, so I could just crunch it for the next view so that we can see whether or not this is getting better or worse. I wouldn't really... something like the tonnage comparison would be good. Something like this, that could show us easily what the share is, irrespective of the total numbers, because the total numbers would skew it. So yeah, anyway, end of report. Thank you very much for joining me, and now let's jump into the game. So let's start by looking at what I was talking about with the rebuilds, because it is really tempting. When we jump into ships in service and we look at the nows, for example, they have been rebuilt 6 years ago. Okay, 6 years ago. And when we open it for rebuild right now, you can see that they're still at 20 knots, but if we replace the machinery, we gain 324 324 weight, and if you sorry, I'm really stuttering here. I need to set my thoughts straight. So, weight remaining 324 from the rebuild of machinery. And if we actually look at the current guns, it has a 12-inch gun, double turrets front and aft, which have a range of 12,920 yards with penetration of 4.8 and starting at 9 inches. If we lower the caliber to 11, we get them quality -1 guns, which have actually a higher range and almost the same penetration at 13,000 yards and a slightly smaller one at 1,000 yards. But we have saved a huge amount of weight on these guns. Now, if I invest that into speed, we can get the Donau to 22 knots, and I could even probably increase the tertiary guns to 5 inches, no problem. And I could upgrade the secondary 8-inch guns to quality 0. So that leaves us with a little bit of negative weight, but we can easily, after we put the central firing there and lowering the amount of shells, get this to, actually I could do it this way, couldn't I? That work? No, that's too many. But like that. So we could slightly lower the amount of secondary gun shells, primary gun shells, and tertiary gun shells, and we would get a Donau which is now able to retain speed of 22 knots, which means extended periods at 20 knots. It has almost the same guns it had, even though it is decreased its caliber. It has severely increased its tertiary gun capabilities, and it has better quality secondary guns. That's all good and nice, but the monthly cost now is 3,701 Reichsmark for 12 months, meaning it costs about, that's even more than I expected, that's roughly 44,000 Reichsmark. And an entirely new Donau would cost us 64,913. So you can see that we would basically be investing 2/3 of our cost back to the ship. So either you build 2 more of these, or you rebuild 3 of the Donauts. That's the comparison that we're working with. On the other hand, the ship is so much better, with these extra things. And again, it's a question of whether or not we want to do that, because we could just very much build an entirely new ship based on Donau. You can upgrade the guns now to quality -1, upgrade these ones. You still have huge savings on machinery and more savings on the armor and everything. So it seems like it might be a better choice to just build an entirely new ship. Central firing, yeah, 290, but yeah, that's what we can just, sorry, let's go. And make it 20,000 tons now, and you can fit everything you wanted in there, and you don't even have to bat an eye. So this is definitely a better choice, though, again, this one would cost 71,500, and it would take 2.5 years to build it. Still, it is a much better choice. So I think that the rebuilds of the Donauts and everything we're gonna leave for later, and if we have extra money, we're just gonna build new ships. On the other hand, the rebuilds later are gonna be extremely good, because they're just gonna make these ships so much better. But we need more savings on the machinery. I hope I'm making myself clear. It's just something we need to consider, because again, for the cost of the new ship, we could rebuild the 2 older ones. Yeah, fair enough. But still, you know what I mean. So anyway, right now we have a monthly balance of 157 Reichsmark, which is pretty good. We have a little bit of an issue with foreign tonnage. Do we not have you guys all on foreign stations? We do, and it's not enough. That's interesting. So we really need one more Frederica. So let's just do that then. One footboat costs 315. And that is actually okay. I need to, 1 second, I have a file here with my notes, so let me see what the next name for the Frederica was supposed to be. We have Sophie, Frederica, Luisa, and Henriette. So the next name was Suzette. So we're gonna build Suzette. It's gonna cost us a little bit, but in 18 months we're gonna have an extra ship available. Now with the corvettes, what are we gonna do with you? You are mothballed, and Delphin is okay. So Delphin can go to foreign stations for now, and we'll keep the Nebula mothballed. Karsten, Brockenwald, yeah, you guys need to get mothballed. You're absolutely useless. You're supposed to go back. So move back to Northern Europe. And we're gonna mothball you there. Okay, so we either have you at foreign stations or mothballed, which is good. Good. Okay. So now we're okay with the foreign stations. Ships are going well. Yeah, I was right. There was a typo in the presentation. So this is at February 1905. But still, that's pretty good. Okay, I think we're done. So let's end the turn and see what it brings. A focus on physical fitness on heavy cruiser Fiska Privé has led to combat training being neglected. Crew quality suffers. That's fine. Boom times. There has been a windfall in tax revenues. What is your recommendation on how to spend the money? So strengthen the navy. We should build railroads to increase the long-term prosperity of the nation. We could start some modest social programs. Yeah, I'm usually going with the second choice because while the first one seems like the obvious choice, I think that this has, or I'm hoping that this actually has a hidden modifier that increases your GDP growth. So I would like to hope that that's what's going to happen. Relations between USA and Spain are very tense. Yes, I know. Naval gun research improved 11-inch guns research, quality 0. Oh, that's really nice. Okay, so France sold. Oh, you can do that. White cruiser foreign to Japan. She will be renamed Takasago. Okay. I didn't even know that you could sell ships to someone. Okay, and we got... oh great, we got 1,040 Reichsmark yearly more. Well, that's better than nothing, but hopefully it helps the overall economy. How high? Okay, they're at 10 now. Yeah, war is gonna break out soon, I think. Unless both of the nations take some steps to reduce the tensions. Now, moving back to where we were before, let me look at the rebuilds of the Dreadnoughts. If we went to quality 11 now, so 12,920 and 4.8, and 11 has 14,250, and it is, wow. Okay, so our 11-inch guns are now so much better. If we actually designed an entirely new battleship, let's compare it to quality -1, 12 caliber, 10.19 inches at 1,000 yards. Okay, so Quality -112 is still better. Significantly better. And then quality 011. But they are unbelievably heavier, about 500 on this ship. So 1/3 is about 250 tons heavier. Something we need to keep in mind. But good for us. I mean, good for us overall. 11-inch guns, great. Let's hear it for 12-inch guns. Actually, what do we have as a high priority? Fire control subdivisions are medium. Submarines are high. And naval guns are high. I think I'm gonna... No, let's keep it as it is. Keep it as it is. 2 cruisers finished the reconstruction. And we got a research breakthrough in hull construction. High tensile steel. 1% weight saving on hull. Good. USA is rumored to have secretly increased naval expenditures and are probably preparing for a war with Spain. Intelligence report from Great Britain. They increased their naval budget. USA has sold battleship North Dakota to Austria-Hungary. She will be renamed Matthias Corvinus. Why is nobody selling ships to us? I'd take that deal. No, we barely have any cash left, but okay. Budget increased again, and we have finished rebuilding the 2 cruisers, which were, I believe, another the Liebex, the Gazelles. So they should now have the central firing, and they're pretty good. Okay, so let's see who we can start rebuilding next. Well, the Prince Heinrichs are an obvious choice. So what could we do with you? You guys already... No, you're not struggling with your speed. If you did that... could make you slightly faster. I don't know much that we can do on them though. This makes very little sense to bulge them up. They don't have that much ammo either. Damn! Okay, so turns out we really can't do much with them here. Gun data. Port forward, starboard forward. I did replace the machinery, yeah. So with the rebuild of machinery, can pretty much just increase the speed by 1 knot. If you wanted to give them the... Damn, okay. I'm having hard time finding ways how to make this work. If I remove a little bit, okay, if I removed a little bit of armor from the 3rd top, that would probably do it. Okay, so that would do it. And would do it pretty well. If I lower the... Okay, this is perfect. So now it's gonna cost 13,370 to rebuild these. And what are we getting in return? Well, the central firing is gonna be very important. What if we just said no? And just gave it the firing that actually makes them a little bit of overweight. Damn, removing the armor from 3rd top also makes it super And I could remove... Damn. Having a hard time finding extra weight here that we could save. Because removing armor from the turret top is definitely a possibility. But that makes it super expensive. I'm trying to think about this rationally. Because increasing the speed by 1 knot and everything for 10,000, that's barely a good deal. So we could completely remove the tertiary guns. I mean, they're 2-inch caliber. So that barely makes any sense for us anymore. I mean, that's just super cheap. So we give them the rangefinder. And that's basically it. It's gonna have a much better chance at hitting with its primaries and secondaries. And it's gonna cost 443 for 3 months. So in 3 months we would rebuild both of them. I actually think this is a good idea. Yeah, that makes very little sense. What does the rebuild mean? Oh, it just shows you the options. Okay. Well, I'm fine. This is a good weight-saving choice. So, yeah. Let's do this. And let's rebuild both of them. Wait. That's the wrong window. So, yeah. Very good choice. I think a very good economic choice for us. Because we make them much more accurate. But on the same hand, we don't really spend that much. Yeah, it's even keeping us in the positive. So, good. We have to think about, the cost to benefit ratio, because it's of course very good to make your ships as fast and big and powerful, but what's the end game? What do we want? That's the question we need to keep asking ourselves. Our scientists report that they have suffered a temporary setback in figuring out the concept of improved explosive filler packing, and they're close to mastering active mine warfare. Okay. Which will mean that the next corvettes we design will be mine-laying ones, I guess. Okay, another increase in the yearly budget. That's really good. So, who will be the next candidate for rebuilds? Hertha hasn't been. Okay, Hertha, and it's actually suffering significantly. Okay, Hertha could be rebuilt and I could invest in it because that ship deserves it. I'm gonna be a little bit... of issue here. Nope. That doesn't fix it. It doesn't have any ammo left either. So we could make it 2 knots faster than it is now. Upgrade its gun. So, it has turrets. Could upgrade its tertiary guns as well. Okay, this weight is bugging me. This is not gonna help. Where do we save 100 tons of weight? Because that would be really good if we could make it 22 knots. That would actually make it worth, because it could become a really good raider. So if we completely remove the torpedoes, that fixes it. Actually, that fixes it perfectly. To 15,000. Jesus. What can we get for 15,000? Not a Frederica, that makes very little sense. We could get 10 destroyers. We really don't have many designs, do we? Yeah, we could get an entire first Bismarck built for that. Cost to benefit ratio, Alpha. Keep thinking about that. How much did the Hertha cost originally even? That's a good question. 26. So, it is a massive rebuild, but it's still, let's not do that now. Let's keep it in, in the back of our minds. Hella. I'm not sure that we can do much with this one. It has a lot of remaining weight though. If you upgrade the guns, it still has a ton of weight remaining. That's actually really interesting. Can I give it extra secondary guns? The game allowed it? It would. And it's a really cheap and a really good rebuild. And if I replace the machinery, could even make it. Yeah, okay, so see, this one is not bad. It's gonna cost us 5,000, but Hella is gonna be 2 knots faster than it is right now. It's gonna get much better guns. It's gonna get more secondary guns. It's gonna get the range finder or central firing. And it's gonna be only about 5k to do that. If we wanted to build it as an, yeah, it's about half the cost of the new ship. So I think we're gonna do that. Because Hella has been a fairly good elite, even hunter during the war. It's a small but very capable ship. So let's replace the machinery. Let's give it better guns. Let's speed that baby up. Let's give it more secondaries. Let's give it the central firing. And I can give it more tertiary, actually. Would that work? It would. And it doesn't really make much of a difference. It's a little bit more expensive, but okay. So it gets more secondaries and we upgrade its tertiaries to 3-inch guns. So that makes sense because it's gonna have more of a range on them. And it's gonna be a little bit heavier, a little bit faster. Yeah, I can see this working. That's actually a pretty good rebuild. And okay, it's 5,360 Reichsmark to do it, but this ship is gonna be amazing. So let's save it and finish it. Actually, one thing. Yeah, it has an aft torpedo mount on the outside. I would really like to remove some of these and just give it more tubes aiming backwards in case it is pursued. Outside the line. It sucks that we can't have more of these, you know. It would make sense, but, you know, either way. Either way, let's save it. And we are going to rebuild it. 1904 rebuild. Cool. So another ship goes into the books. Good for us. It's going to be ready at the same time as König, freeing up pretty much 2,200 Reichsmark for us. Frederica will come 5 months later, and we are currently rebuilding the first Weissenberg and the 2 Prince Heinrichs. Okay, April 1904 is behind us. So let's end the turn. Recent improvements in productivity has boosted our industrial production. Okay, good for us. Unexploited delays have affected the building of heavy cruiser Prince Heinrich. Great Britain is said to have increased its naval budget. Okay, so your budget has increased slightly. Yeah, they're going to war. Spain is gonna go to war with the United States in a minute. Okay, I wanted to look. Oh yes, I wanted to look at the dockyard. France is 24, US is 22. We don't see how much. Well, Great Britain is not gonna show that to us. I mean, we can't at this high tensions build in its dockyard, but can we see it here? Yeah, 25k. It's not great. I'm not really a fan of that. Not much that we can do though. The steel industry wants a stronger navy. They want to help you convince the Kaiser to increase naval expenditures. What do? Mention the importance of a strong navy and the steel industry to national well-being of the Kaiser. Tell them the navy is not a tool for increasing their profits. I don't want to increase our tensions generally, because we are already fairly high with Great Britain. So it's no, let's not escalate. I would selectively escalate, but not with Great Britain. Problems with delivery of equipment has delayed the rebuilding of Prince Adalbert. Garach is placed in command of Battleship Wilhelm. A lot of movements around. We have more ships in Southeast Asia than we can support. Actually, I wanted to check. We don't know if our Fleet Admiral Bergta is good or bad. Okay, well, either way, he is there, for good or worse. Weissenberg has finished the reconstruction. 2 cruisers have finished the reconstruction. A research breakthrough, pneumatic recuperator, gradual national rate of fire improvement to turrets and gun mountings. And we got fleet tactics, active mine warfare, increased use of defensive minefields. Okay, so that actually changes a lot of stuff for us. Now, can we now design a corvette that could lay mines? No. Max 6. You can put a minesweeping gear on it. But we can. Okay, is it forbidden? Does it have to be a destroyer, maybe? Because I'm really not skilled with this. Nope, not even destroyers. Can have that. So a light cruiser, maybe? Max 58. It's not allowing me to add it. Seaplanes, catapults. No, I think it really is just not available yet. So fleet tactics. Naval Academy, wireless telegraphy, removes delay risk at strategic movement. And active mine warfare. Increased use of defensive minefields. But we can't lay them. Okay, I guess, fair enough. Why not? Okay, so Weissenberg has been rebuilt. It has one 12-inch gun in the front. There's 4 9-inch gun and 8 5-inch guns, and it's capable of 15 knots compared to the original one, which had 2 10-inch, 4 9-inch, and 8 2-inch. I think it's much better. Okay, so we are going to rebuild the U now. And Weissenberg itself can be sent to where? South Africa, maybe? Northeast Asia, we have base capacity. I'd like to have them here. Indian Ocean. How many ships do we have there? None, and we have base capacity. Okay, so Weissenberg is gonna move to the Indian Ocean. The reason why I'm choosing Indian Ocean is because it's a strategic connection point between Europe and Asia. So in case, we fight Great Britain or someone, they are going to have a lot of ships passing through this area. So while, the Cape is good and they have colonies everywhere, in case of any conflict, controlling Indian Ocean will be beneficial for us in the long term. Okay, we still have a little bit of monthly balance. With my vessels, we've rebuilt pretty much everyone with the exception of Hertha. We definitely built everyone. Okay, what about you, König? Damn, that would be really expensive. But not dramatically so. Slightly overweight. But we can save a little bit of weight by lowering the amount of primary ammo. No, we can't, because that jumps up to 12 ones. So I can lower the ammo in the secondary guns, and that doesn't cost anything. Cool. So that's gonna mean that it is the center of firing. Symmetric turret position, we don't want that. But yeah, that's the only thing that we really desire here anyway, so... Wait, what? Oh, wow. Well, we definitely do want that, though. It's gonna be way more expensive and longer, but that is something that we definitely want. And I think this will also mean that the next one can be built with this in mind. König von Preußen. It's gonna offer us building it in the 1904 configuration, I think. I'm not 100% sure. A delegation from our major dockyard complained that with our new contracts they risk having to reduce capacity. Keeping 25% of total capacity busy will prevent this. Oh no. Okay, that is a problem. Frigate Captain Streeter of light cruiser Ariadne, above average torpedo expert, has been arrested as a spy for Great Britain. The trial is coming up, but the evidence appears flimsy and the case might be politically motivated. Use your influence to get him acquitted. He has put a blot on the honor of the Navy. He deserves the most severe punishment the law will allow. Let's use our influence to get him acquitted. Increased tensions with Great Britain, unfortunately. Research breakthrough fire control. Control tops. Gradual improvement. Okay, so I had no idea that this would happen. We're actually So we're building... Okay, so what we need to do is build another ship, which, well, great is not great at all. So 25%. That would be huge, because we would need to be building additional at least 20,000 tons. And that's just something we can't afford at this point. It's kind of weird that the rebuilds don't count though, because they are being carried out in the dockyard. Well, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. USA is seeking improved relations with us due to rising tensions with Spain. Should increase cooperation? Sure. And here we go. War has broken out between the United States and Spain. With the threat from Great Britain rising, the Hawke Party managed to pass a bill authorizing additional funding for the Navy. Captain Sir Zeph Fane of Battleship Frederick III has been implicated in a scandal involving copious amounts of champagne and an admiral's daughter. What is your reaction? Well now, a sailor is entitled to some fun. The Navy cannot be a hotbed for scandals. Our submarine research is hampered by us having few operational submarines. Oh yeah, we've already had that. In an engagement in the Caribbean between the Spanish and the US navies, the US ship Houston has been sunk. Oh, nice! Actually, Spain scores a kill. Prince Albert finished her working up, so did Prince Heinrich. We got an increase in budget, so we'll see how much. Okay, 125,920 Reichsmark. That's not bad. That's actually not bad at all. Well, I mean, if we started building 2 more Königs, that's gonna be a month for 3,500. And that's just crazy. Gonna be built in 4 months. This is gonna free up a lot of capacity. How much are we paying? 800? Okay, this is 2,750. 3,250. This is 3,600. Actually, we would be able to order 2 more Königs, which might be just what we're gonna do once all of these are done. The Kaiser wants to reduce finance for the Navy to build a new palace and a luxurious yacht for the head of the state. What do you do? Of course, protest energically and with the help of the Navy League to derail the plan for the palace. Let's protest. Our scientists report that they have suffered a temporary setback in figuring out the concept of improved signaling. Cool. Okay, the tensions with Great Britain is 8. How's the... Okay, so USA has 6 battleships, 11 heavy cruisers and 1 light cruiser, and 33 destroyers in the area of the Caribbean. While Spain has 1 battleship, 6 heavy cruisers, and 3 destroyers there. That's interesting. Ships. Yeah, they're pretty much screwed. Like, most of those ships are located in Europe anyway, but we'll see. Maybe they can pull something out of the hat. Actually, I wanted to see what we could do with the destroyers. So we have a little bit of a weight saving on them now. Could increase the guns to a 4-inch caliber if we wanted to. No, things improve. Things improve. So, cool. End the turn. The Kaiser expresses his concern that our forces in Northern Europe are insufficient considering the threat from Great Britain. Current strength is 45, required 163 ships in reserve count. You are due to hold a speech at the annual gathering of the Navy League. What will be the gist of your speech? The seas should be kept peaceful. We are prepared to safeguard the interest of our nation against the threat. The freedom of the sea is threatened by the imperialistic Italy, France, Russia, Spain. No, let's blame Spain for everything. Okay, yeah, that actually dramatically increased our budget by 9,000. And we are at a monthly balance of 918 right now. So this allows me to actually put another König in production. And this one is going to be called Friedrich Wilhelm I. So let's do that one. Okay, so our dockyard capacity is now used by 22,400 units. I think this is the basis. So if we wanted to build another thing, 400 tons. First Bismarck. I'm thinking whether or not when's the next one ready, in 2 and 3 months. So we might actually start the next one as well. I'm just afraid that the game is gonna hit us with the reduction of the dock size, and I wouldn't like to see that. So let us order another König. And this one's gonna be called Friedrich II. This is gonna tank our budget significantly, but in 2 months, which we can take, we're gonna be we're gonna bounce from the bottom basically. So that's how we're gonna do it. Okay, December. Austria-Hungary wants to extend our security arrangement. What do you recommend? Yes, we should extend it. And our ship Friedrich I under construction could be complete. Yeah. So add about 1 month to construction time. And USA seeking improved relations with us due to the war with Spain. Let's increase the cooperation with the United States. And Kaiser wants to hold an international naval gathering with a sailing regatta and competition. This will strengthen our international standing and lessen tensions, but the money to finance the event will be taken out of the naval budget. Yeah, the Navy supports this initiative. Tensions are high between our ally Austria-Hungary and Italy. How should we act? We are gonna support Austria-Hungary whatever happens. Capped armor-piercing projectiles. And we have temporary setbacks in figuring out the concept of improved explosives filler packing. And in an engagement in the Caribbean between the Spanish and the US navies, the US ship destroyer Trippe has been sunk. Wow! Spain is killing it. Okay. So what the hell is happening between... Wow! Okay, Austria-Hungary and Italy are also super close to war. Okay, tensions increased dramatically everywhere. And I have to be a little bit careful about the ships under construction now. So, König von Preußen is going to be rebuilt in 1 month. And we're still going to be facing an issue because Friedrich is taking too long. So I can I can pause these 2 rebuilds for now. And that's gonna allow me to do everything we want. So I must just not forget to rebuild that. So did the Weisenberg get... Yes, it's in Indian Ocean. Good. So let's end the turn. König von Preußen has finished the reconstruction. And we get a research breakthrough in armor-piercing projectiles. Capped armor-piercing projectiles. Better penetration. Grand Admiral Schreiber is placed in command of the 2nd Home Fleet Cruiser Support. Intelligence report from USA. USA is refitting the ship San Francisco, light cruiser with heavier guns. Problems with the equipment has delayed the construction of set. König von Preußen is done. Okay, so now we're doing good. We have 414 in deficit, so that means I can resume the rebuilding here and resume the rebuilding here, because next month we'll get the Friedrich finished, and that means we're gonna have 3 of them, won't we? We now have no, wait, yeah. No, okay, 2 of them. We rebuild 1, second one is coming, and 2 more will be finished. Okay, and because it's January 1905, it is the end of this episode, but what I'm gonna do between this one and next one is actually I'm gonna go to the division editor, and I'm gonna completely switch it around. We're gonna create 3 fleets. We're gonna have the Baltic fleet, we're gonna have the Northern Europe fleet, and we're gonna have the Indian Ocean fleet. And then once we finish the Weisenbergs, we're also going to have a Southern Africa fleet, and we're gonna have a Northeast Asia fleet. Those fleets are gonna be more like squadrons, so Southern Africa. Okay, let me rephrase that. Baltic fleet, North Europe fleet, and we're gonna have Southern Africa squadron, Indian Ocean squadron, and Northeast Asia squadron. We do have the capacity for that. We have a ton of ships now. We're probably also going to figure out what we do with the submarines as part of the strategy, so I'm gonna give it a thought. Do it off cam because it's gonna take a lot of time to play with it around. This probably some work with Excel as well to make sure that we are properly balanced. And I also have to investigate what the Russian ships, yeah. We need to be prepared for the conflict, so it's gonna be kind of bad because, but what I know is that we're gonna split the fleet into 2 Donau and Deutsche Kaisers, and the second fleet is gonna be led by Elbe and the Königs. The Königs are gonna be, pretty much. I mean, when you look at the Wilhelm, for example, you can see that it has 4 8-inch guns, and our Königs actually have 6 8-inch guns. So they have more guns than the battleships. They're lightly armored, but their weapons are stronger, they're faster, so they're gonna be more than equivalent to the battleships that we have there. And I actually need to consider, but I mean, right now we cannot rebuild because a war is looming behind us, but I was thinking that we want to give them the central firing. It's 3 months. We could lose them for 3 months, but I don't even have the money, so we'll have to wait for it to finish the current projects to finish, and then we can do it. But happy with the resumed construction. That is really good, because it means that our ships are going to, or our fleet is going to continue growing. We're actually heavily emphasizing the heavy cruiser squadrons, so I might want to revisit the Lübeck class. I don't think that one is even available to be built anymore. Yeah, it's not, it's too old. And we could use it as a basis for the next design. We have 4 Lübecks, right? Yeah, I was hoping we would have more. I was planning like 6 or 8 of them. Jesus Christ, the next one could be going at 24 knots. Could upgrade the guns. I think I could even give it an 8-inch gun, but it's probably, yeah, that's gonna make it a heavy cruiser, which is not what we want. You have tertiary guns, so let's go like this. Fire control is not the best available. Yeah, this is looking pretty darn good. The belt couldn't be higher than 3 inches though. Auto place. Dreadnought. You have the tubes. I think we could remove the forward one. Definitely. Which gives us additional weight. Which could easily be translated into increasing the belt. And if I slightly lower, yeah, so something like this would be a great design for us as the successor to Lübeck, and we even save a little bit of money because it's developed from it. So this could work potentially very well. Very fast, better armored, much better gun suit. Protected cruiser. The slope deck would be better though. That would even be worth... Yeah, it would be worth putting it there instead of what we had. Because a slope deck instead of the increased belt would work. So something like this. I'm gonna consider it. Again, we need to finish our heavy cruisers first, and then we can entertain increasing the light cruiser family. But we have rebuilt most of our ships at this point, so we can then just look at who would be a potential candidate. I mean, you know, we still need to upgrade the Verf, but the rest of them, like the Gaffians, could get an upgrade because they only have the central rangefinder, and they are still one of the best cruisers that we had. Well, they were rebuilt recently, so I don't feel really good. Yeah, the Deutsche Kaisers are gonna come next. We need to give them the better fire control, and same for the Donauts. That are the pride of our fleet. Anyway, you know, hour and 10 minutes long episode. Sorry for that, but a lot is happening. The world is getting more dangerous, and we have more money to play around with. So yeah, things like this are bound to happen. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time with the Ruled Waves episode, where we will have our fleets hopefully we will have our fleets rearranged.